Across the board.
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 You're listening to Across the Board. Buckle up, because things are about to get interesting.
Cal, hello.
Hi.
Welcome in.
Thank you.
Okay. So, we wanted to talk to you because you have a story that most people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of interesting, and I hope other people will find it interesting. So you're here on a work visa.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start right at the beginning. How hard is it to get a work visa?
Okay, I'm 19 years old first.
Okay.
That I think that matters a lot because when you're 19 or like less than that age, it's kind of more difficult because you have to, first of all, in the high school, you have to have a visa for United States.
Okay.
And then you need to go there to ask for a visa and they can give it to you or they don't. So if they don't give it to you, you can come to work and that plans like you can make it. So
Okay.
it's kind of difficult.
So obviously, so you're saying it gets easier if you're older.
Yeah.
But as far as the process goes, is it a complicated process, or is it like you just fill out an application and it's how is that whole thing?
In my case, it was a little bit more easy because I came with a company.
Okay.
So that made the process maybe more easy because the company helped me.
Yeah.
And the process was not difficult, but it takes a lot of time, like 6 months, to take the visa and other papers like they need, like the medical papers and that stuff.
So let me start a little bit before that. So in Mexico,
Yeah.
you're supposed to get like kind of like an acknowledgement or some type of paperwork to get your visa, correct?
Yeah.
And once you get that, you can apply. And how did you hear about the company? How did that whole process start and work?
I heard from that company for a friend. She came to USA first and she told me like it's a very good experience. The company gives you a lot of opportunities. They help you a lot. So from that, I start the process.
Okay. And now starting the process, was it, are the forms readily available? Was it difficult to kind of do research and find that information online? How did you go about, finding out all that information?
Yeah, the information was hard in part because I do all myself. My parents don't help me at all because they don't know English. So I have to do the process on my own. So that kind of makes more difficult to understand the government here and how the things work in here.
So let's say if somebody, for example, in your situation was a little bit easier, you had some kind of guidance, like there was somebody to tell you you should do this or do that. So if somebody has nobody to help them with this and they're in Mexico, they don't speak English too well, it's going to be a very difficult process.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the problem is like you have a lot of people that want to come here and they want to work here. They want to work here legally, but it's hard to because if you don't know,
They
if
don't
nobody's
help.
if nobody's helping you, it's not an easy process. So let's say, and how long is that visa good for? The work, like the work visa that you have, how long is it good for?
1 year only. And I have to back the exact day I came here in 2024.
Okay.
So my visa, it works from 14 November 2024, and I have to be in Mexico in November 14, 2025.
Okay. And are all the visas 1 year exactly, or is there different ones? Is there like longer or shorter?
There are different. I think that visa is only from the company. But
Okay.
there are also like, my visa is J1, and I think there are also J2 and J3. So
Okay.
for 2 or 3 years.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I think like if you have, for example, you have continuing work, your visa is good for 1 year. Can you just extend it or do you still have to go back?
I can extend it, but I have to go back and do all the process again. Like they don't give me another, like, okay, you're right here, so you can stay here now. They told me like
That's
you need to
crazy.
come back and do all the process again.
And it's all over again? Like it
Yeah.
still takes 4, 5, 6 months, whatever?
Yeah, I have to do again the interview for the visa and the interview for,
That's crazy.
That's so unnecessary,
crazy.
I think. Wow.
yeah.
So
and I think it's not fair for us, like,
absolutely.
because we do all the process right.
Yeah.
And maybe we don't have like that opportunities.
Right.
And I think the illegal person that live here have more opportunities than us.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. Like if you have a job here, if you're starting to work and you have, you have a good thing going, your work is doing well, you're making money, you're doing whatever you're doing.
Paying taxes, you're doing
If you
all the right things.
Yeah.
But the point is you should be able to just continue working because if, for example, somebody's employing you and you say, hey, at 1 year I have to go back and it's going to take me another 4 or 5 months to come back here, that person's going to find somebody else.
Yeah.
Do you know why they make you do all that stuff over again? Is there a reason why they send you back and then you have to wait again and then come back again?
I don't know like exactly why is the reason, but I think because the companies associate with the government here, and I think maybe they have like agreement between them. I don't know exactly, but maybe that's
Right.
that how that works.
So it's just this is what the policy is.
Yeah.
So pretty crappy policy.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean that should change.
I mean, I can understand why people sometimes
Yeah, no, I could absolutely
come here and not want to follow the process because
Yeah.
it's so difficult.
But see, this is the thing that doesn't make any sense to me is, people talk about we're happy to have immigrants as long as they're going to come and they're going to work and all that. Well, if somebody's here and they're working and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, they got their paperwork, they got everything right, but then we have a process where now you have to go back and wait another 4 or 5 months before you could come back again. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
If you're here, you should be able to just continue working. That's stupid. I'm just going to say that is stupid.
Yeah, I know.
It just makes things so much more difficult. You have someone that's here that's trustworthy, that's doing what they need to do. They're doing it the right way. And you're just making it 10 times more difficult for them. And who knows, like, I'm sure there's people here that go back and they don't get approved for whatever reason. So I don't understand why I don't understand that process, honestly, why it is that way.
Well, and I'm guilty of this too. I'm guilty of saying like, why don't people just do, get their paperwork and then come here and then, do everything the right way. But it sounds like doing it the right way is insanely hard compared to just coming across the border and doing things without papers. That's what it sounds like.
How many times have you gone through this process? Is this your first time or?
No, it's my first time. Yeah, but like I said, the company, fortunately, they helped me a lot, and I have a lot of people that help me. But in the case of the people that don't have help at all, I think it's more difficult, and that's why they decide to came here illegally.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No, it does. It does. Well, okay. So here's the other question: is there any extra steps? So is there health screenings and stuff like that? Because I'm sure there's got to be something like that. Because if you're coming from another country, right?
Yeah. Well, from the company, I didn't have to make that, but they first make you an interview, they can see the level you have in English.
Okay.
And if you don't pass that interview, you have to stay in Mexico 8 months to have courses
Okay.
to learn English. So that process it's so long and
wow.
Yeah.
So okay, and the reason I was asking about this is so let's say your English is not at that level, you have to go and you have to take the courses.
For 8 months.
Do you have to pay for the courses or do they pay for
Yeah.
it? And so you have to pay for courses as well.
Yeah, we need to look for.
I wonder how they determine the 8 months though. Like for someone who's not fluent in English, 8 months is really not that.
Well, I think it's probably the length of the course.
Okay.
It's probably a course that you have to take that you have to complete. That's 8 months long.
What kind of questions do they ask you on the assessment?
They're not so difficult. It's only they can see how much you know from English, and then you can have a conversation with the people because I believe you're going to live with people only talking English, and you need to know how to communicate with them. So they want to see how much you know.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just sounds like the process is insanely expensive for some reason. It's it's hard. It takes time. It takes money. But then it's if you're going to come here to work, it's that's the whole point. You want to come here to work, to make money, not to spend money to be able to come here. So it's I think there needs to be a different process. I think it needs to be a little bit easier. I think it should be a little bit faster. Like, even if you had to go back, it shouldn't take, if you've already applied for that J1 or let's say, for example, you want another J1, right? Even if you have to go back, it should only be like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because you've already been through this process. They've already screened you. They've already seen all your paperwork. Everything is done. So I don't understand why it takes another 5-6 months. Like that's,
Yeah, I know.
like what could
I can't
possibly,
justify that,
what
that
could
time
possibly
period,
take
honestly.
that long?
I'm like thinking maybe they need to process all the paperwork and everyone that's trying to come in and get their paperwork in. But that makes no sense to me. I can't justify why it would take them 4 to 5 months to conduct another investigation on someone that's already been here, that's been
my
working
point.
and has done this before.
So that's my point. That's my point exactly. Is if we already trusted this person to come into the United States once to work, like what more is there to do? I personally think if you're working here and you want to continue working here, as long as your employer says yes, you are
right.
working, you're still employed by this company or by whoever, you should be able to just apply for that, maybe a month before that visa's over, and then just extend it while you're still here.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense to go back and forth.
Yeah, and also it's not fair because, like you said, we do all the things right.
Yeah.
Like we came here legally to the point that they support to us more than the illegal persons.
Yeah.
And I think it's also not fair because you have to pay again all the things you already paid before, like the visa, and also I'll pay to enter the company. So I think you need to pay again that.
Can I ask how much it costs to do all that? If you recall.
I'm not sure but I think like 500.
Yeah, around
or
there.
maybe more. Yeah.
Okay. And it's the exact same process. Like they don't take away any other questions. Like they ask you the same questions. They put you through the same process. It's not like, well, she's been here. We don't have to ask this type of question. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, this is the part that doesn't make sense to me is if you've already been through it once, why do you have to go through it again?
Yeah.
It's a renewal, I understand. Maybe they want to do a background check, make sure you haven't done anything while you were here or
Which is
something like that.
understandable, but like to put someone through the same process over again when
From
it's the
top to
exact
bottom,
same thing,
yeah.
and
To go
make
from-
them pay again, I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I agree, especially from top to bottom. It's not like it's not a smaller process. It's not a quicker process.
Yeah.
It's literally the same thing all over again.
Yeah, and it's crazy because the illegal people have been live here like for 7 years already, and they live like they were like citizens from here.
Yeah.
So it's like not
And-
fair, I think.
Not to mention they're getting benefits. they're getting money, they're getting housing, and you have to work your way through that. Like there's something seriously wrong with this system.
Absolutely.
There's something really crazy with this because it doesn't make sense that you basically, it's not that you're punished, but you have, compared to the people that are crossing illegally, you are punished because these people got, they got free housing, they got food, they got cell phones.
Yeah, I know.
How does that make sense?
It doesn't.
I really don't get that. Like this is, I understand. Now I understand why people cross illegally because it's easier. It's there's more there. You make more money that way. As crazy as that sounds. So so speaking of illegally crossing, do you know? And I'm not sure if you know or not, but like if you do cross illegally, because I don't know what the laws are now because they keep changing too.
Yeah.
If you do cross illegally, and you get caught, let's say, do you know if does it make it harder to try to come back, or can you come back if you get
You
caught?
can come back. I have an uncle that lives here illegally, and he didn't go to Mexico like 7 years ago because he can. In case he wants to go and he wants to return here, he can because the government
Will not
they
allow
know.
it.
Yeah.
So he overstayed a visa. He had a visa. He didn't go back.
No.
Oh, he just
He
didn't.
just came here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if they know and he tries to get a visa, he's just not going to be able to.
No.
Okay.
No,
Well,
that's why if he wants to stay here, he needs to stay here like all the time.
just keep hiding.
Yeah.
And then for you, so for example, like since you do have a work visa and everything, if you did apply for, let's say you did want to apply for citizenship, does it make it any easier, or is the process the same thing as anybody else?
No, I think it's the same process. Yeah, because
Again, it doesn't make sense.
yeah,
At
the
all.
visa is only for work. And maybe the first time it's worth it because I came here looking for a better opportunities because in Mexico there you don't have a lot of opportunities. The 90% of the population are poor, so that's why a lot of people came here to they can give you a better life for their kids or
Of course.
their
Yeah.
family. So that's why I came here. Also, I don't agree with the things the government how they do the things, but at the same time I'm grateful, and I'm grateful to be here, and that's why
Oh
the
no,
first time it's worth it, but it's not for like
Yeah.
well, no, and I obviously nobody's saying that you're not grateful.
yeah.
So, but it just to me personally, as an American, I think that it's crazy that we make you go through that much trouble to either continue to stay here or to try to come back to work. Like, I genuinely think that there should be a way where if you work here, let's say maybe not 1 year, maybe if you're here for 2 years, 3 years, whatever, if you're working. I think there should be an easier way to become a citizenship and just be a permanent resident here.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, maybe not citizenship, but maybe like a green card where you could be a resident alien or I don't know all the different terms.
Yeah,
That's the
I
other
know.
thing too. I don't, it's I don't know. That's
So with
pissing me off actually.
with the visa, are you allowed to go back and vacation or see your family?
Oh,
or-
yeah.
And you can come back
Yeah.
no issues.
Yeah, I
Are
can
you
go.
able to travel to different countries as well besides Mexico, or only U.S. and Mexico you're able to travel to?
I'm not sure, but I think we can travel to another.
Do you need to do any kind of like paperwork for that, or is it kind of just like just show your passport?
I think it's the same, but you need to show the contract you have with the company, so they know that you have a visa, and then you need to came back to USA.
Yeah.
Because you're working.
Yeah, because then that complicates things too. Like, for example, if you went to, I don't know, you went to Canada or something, and then when you're trying to come back, it's a whole different crossing point. It's a whole different thing. So,
Yeah.
like, yeah, if you don't have your paperwork with you, then you're kind of,
Screwed.
you're kind of
Yeah.
screwed. Yeah, I hope that changes.
Yeah, me too.
I know that they're doing some crazy stuff right now. There's a lot of deportation and stuff going on, but I hope that along with that, they make an easier way for
Better
people
practices, honestly.
Yeah,
more
that's
than
what I'm just
anything.
saying is an easier way for people to come here legally. Because if you're gonna, I think that if you're gonna say don't come here illegally, then give them an easier way to do it the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Give them the opportunity to want to be able to follow the process, right? Because
Exactly.
people are seeing this. People are seeing all the paperwork. People are seeing how difficult it is, and it's daunting,
Yeah.
right? Why would they want to put themselves through that? Like our parents were immigrants as well. They came here from different countries, and even back then it was a very difficult process. And it's just, I guess seeing that for other people, it's a very scary and difficult thing. So I can understand why people just want to come here and not do any of that, right? It's understandable, but I think the government should make it somewhat easier and more like do something that can like streamline the process, right?
Well, and it's not just that. It's so like I was saying, if I agree, people shouldn't be coming here without paperwork, because the problem is that 90% of them, 95% of the people coming here might be good people that are just looking for opportunity, but then you have the people that are trying to sneak in for other reasons.
Yeah.
And it might not even be from Mexico. It might not be from Central or South America. It's like we saw it the last couple of years. There were people coming from India and from China and from all kinds of different places. And we don't know what their motives are. We don't know if they're good people. We don't know if they're bad people. We don't know if they're, are they doing something illegal? Who knows? Because we never checked on these people.
Yeah, and that's why the people use Mexico to came here to USA,
Yeah.
because they see all the Mexicans crossing illegally, and they see like, okay, we also can do that.
They
because-
think that it's an easy
easier.
thing. Yeah.
So I heard something, it was like 2 weeks ago. I don't know if you heard this or not, but so apparently the illegal immigrants that the United States was taking back to Mexico, they were sending them back. Apparently the Mexican government said that because you're being sent back and you don't have a house and you don't have a job, we're going to give you housing, we're going to give you money, we're going to give you food.
Yeah.
So basically the same thing that the United States did here. But the difference is now now that it's happening in Mexico, the Mexican citizens are getting upset because they're not getting those things. Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it does make sense though. Like, why would anybody, whether or not, even if they didn't break the law in Mexico, they're going back to Mexico because that's where they came from, assuming. I don't know if they're just, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're just dumping everybody in Mexico or if they're just sending whoever is a Mexican citizen to Mexico. But why, even though they didn't commit a crime in Mexico, why are they entitled to a free house, to free money, to free food like that, while everybody else is trying to work and barely making it, It's weird. Like, there's so much wrong with this whole thing.
Yeah. And I also think, like, if they don't want the people be here illegally, why, like you said, why they don't do like another way to make more easier to us.
Just make it easier. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're gonna make it this hard, this is why people are crossing illegally. But if it was easier to do it the right way, I think everybody would, or at least most people would, because it's like right now, everybody's scared. They're talking about some places people aren't showing up for work because they're scared that they're going to show up for work and then get deported. So it's like, why should people have to be scared if they have the opportunity to do it the right way, and then they don't have to worry about anything?
So just on a more personal level, most of your family's still in Mexico.
Yeah.
You're so young. I think it's such a brave thing that you're doing. You came here alone. What made you want to, essentially leave your family and come to a whole new country?
Yeah. You
don't know anyone. You have a new job that you're working for. It's just such a difficult thing, and it's such a brave thing to do. How does that make you feel? What made you want to do that?
Also, my parents asked me that. But I don't know. I decided it's been difficult with my parents because they tell me, like, you have everything here. You have us. You have your family. Why do you want to go to another place with the people you don't know? Like, for them, I understand that it's difficult because I'm the youngest of the family. But I told them, like, I want to try different things. Since I was little, I always, like, dreamed to live here. But I always said, like, if I come here, I want to do, like, the right way, you know?
Right.
So I started looking for companies. I always love to be with kids. So I see this opportunity and I take it. And I told my parents that it's time to
make
fly.
That move. Yeah. So what is your ultimate goal here? What do you see yourself doing in 10 years, let's say?
That's a big question.
What do you want? Like, what would you want out of living here? And what kind of job do you want in the future? What do you want to be doing?
I don't know if I want to stay here, like, living. I maybe want to came back to Mexico.
Okay.
I came here because I want to grow, like, as a person and get out of my comfort zone and know another people, have money, But at the end, I want to finish in Mexico, like living with my family.
Right. And
looking for a good job, having a good life, a big house.
So you want that adventure, you want that experience. I get it. I think, when we were young, we wanted the same things. And again, it's such a great thing that you're doing. And it'll give you so many life experiences. You'll learn so much, being here and meeting new people. And I think it kind of really opens yourself up to, your personality, your work ethic and everything else. I think it really helps you grow. And I think it's a really amazing thing that you're doing.
Yeah. And I think when you do that, like, more younger, it's more easy to...
Absolutely. And you have the time now. You're still so young. You have that opportunity. So it's absolutely great that you're taking advantage of it. Yeah. Not a lot of us were able to do that. And not a lot of people are able to do that. So it's a really, really courageous thing that you did.
Yeah.
To really follow your dreams. And I think that's great.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So you said you would go back to Mexico. That's where you want to live. You want to be with your family. What if so hypothetically, like, let's assume that something changes and that you could bring your entire family here.
That's one of my goals too, because my parents always, like, dream to live here also, and they think like you don't have the pressure to like if you want to have us there, you can do it, and we think like you can do it. Also my goal is stay here and looking for a good job. Also I would love to be actress here, and I think in Los Angeles it's the best city to do.
It's definitely possible. Yeah, it's definitely possible. So basically, you know, that's my point. Is like you said, you wanted to go back to Mexico, but if you could bring everybody out here, you could live here, you would do it.
Yeah.
So and this is where I was going, is how is life different? Where are you from exactly? What city?
Michoacan.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is life different there versus the United States in terms of like how expensive it is to live? How is it in terms of, you know, like, is it crowded? Is there traffic everywhere? Like, because I have no idea. I have no idea what's what, but.
Well, in Michoacan, it's so little, so it's, you don't have a lot of opportunities there. I don't know how to say it, but the quality of the life there, it's poor. Like, you see the people suffering for food, and it's so sad. Like, they have to, you see kids in the street working, and it's so sad because, yeah, and that's why you decide to came here, because I think we grow with the idea that USA is the best, like, opportunity you can have. So that's why I came here, because the life in Mexico, it's so sad.
So where you're from, basically what you're saying is people are just surviving.
Yeah.
That's it. They're not enjoying life in the way that Americans do.
Yeah, no, and they have to work like 24/7, and they don't pay them like so well.
So to anybody that's watching or listening, this is this is the story. This is why people are coming here illegally. They're crossing illegally because it's so difficult to do the right way, but also B, because you might be from somewhere where you're working constantly just to survive, just to eat. Like and meanwhile over here, people are throwing food away because it's like, I mean, it puts things into perspective. Yeah.
What you have here for sure.
No, it puts things into
again,
perspective.
Yeah, puts things into perspective, and it really, coming from somewhere like that and seeing all that, especially at such a young age, it really changes you.
Yeah. I would imagine.
Yeah.
So you said you're here until November.
Yeah.
Do you think you're gonna apply to come back?
Yeah, I want to.
Okay.
But the thing that stopped me a little bit is that I need to make the process again.
Yeah.
But also, like I said, if I stay in Mexico, I'm not going to have an opportunity like this. So I want to come back, because I don't have an opportunity like this in Mexico, like, at all. So
what if you were to come here without like a work visa? If you're, how does...
Stop telling her to do things the wrong way.
No. I'm just saying, if you were to come here without a work visa, and you were to come here to just be a citizen, is what I'm trying to say, without having a job here, what is that process like? Do you know, like, how long that would take?
No, I don't have idea. But what I know, I think if you want to apply for a visa, you have to stay here like a lot of years, and the government is going to see all the things you are going to do in that years, and that's why they decide. Yeah.
So it is a process. It's going to take years for sure.
I'm sure.
And you have to have all the things right, all correctly.
Well, I mean, shit.
When you first got with the company, and the first day that you came here, did the company have somewhere for you to stay? How did that work? Did you have other, I don't know if you know anyone out here, but did you have anyone out here that you stayed with? How did that process work? Did you start work right away?
First, we know all the uppers each other in New York. We do like a trip. And then all the uppers live in different cities around USA. And from New York, you fly with the host family. I think that's not so difficult. But the area directors from the company, they can, like, in case happens something with the family and that stuff, they can support you.
Gotcha.
Like to receive
So you have that backup support just in case.
So you're not
happen.
homeless if something goes wrong. Like,
Okay,
basically.
good.
But at least there's that. At least there's a company. See, and that's the one good thing out of this whole screwed up story is that at least there's a company that's helping people do this, and that's helping them do it the right way and supporting them while they're here.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking about it. If, for example, if somebody does come here and doesn't do it the right way, if somebody does come here illegally and doesn't know anybody here, what are they supposed to do? I mean, if for example, somebody crosses illegally but doesn't know anybody here that they can stay with or anything like that, they're on the streets, and it's what are they going to do?
Yeah.
At least you have that opportunity. I don't know. I definitely think that, like I said earlier, they need to fix this process a little bit. It needs to be quicker. It needs to be easier. It needs to be, for people that are trying to do it right, it shouldn't be that much of a just a hassle or a headache or cost that much either,
And to pay every single time and to do everything over again every single time.
It's not just paying every single time. It's, you're asking people who are coming here they're coming here for the opportunity, but then you're asking them to empty their pockets just for that chance. It should
And a lot of people are coming out here because they don't have that
That's my point.
option, right? They don't have the option to pay that much money to come here. So how are you expecting? Maybe that's what they want. Maybe it's a deterrent. Maybe that's why they're making it so difficult. But then don't call this a country of opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, if you're making the process this difficult.
Well, it is a country of opportunity, but I think that what we need to look at is we need to make it a little bit. There's a way around it. Even if you have to pay for the visa, it should maybe be a deferred payment. Like, you should be able to maybe come here and work for a month or two before you have to pay that.
Or just lessen the fee. I mean, why do you have to pay the same amount every single time?
That thing to me is completely crazy. The fact that the process is the same no matter how many times you do it, that's stupid. There's no way that should happen. If you've already been here once, it should be a cheaper fee. You should be able to do it faster. You should be able to get it easier. And like I'm saying, is if you're already working here, you should be able to just continue working and just have it renewed while you're still here.
Right. And why only a year? Like, what is the purpose of that? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Don't ask me.
I think it depends a lot of the work.
The type of work?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
What's you said there's J1, J2, and J3. Do you know the difference between those? And
I don't know exactly, but I only know about the J1. Like, it's for 1 year and it's from the company. Obviously, you can use it for another works, but I use this for this work. Yeah.
So if it didn't work out with this company, you could still use that same visa to work somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know if I work with someone else. Like, I don't know another companies.
Yeah.
But this one helps you a lot to do.
And how long do they expect you to check in with them about just how things are going and everything with the company? Is it like every week, every month? Do they check on you?
The company?
Yeah.
Yeah, they came to the house. The area director, they came every month, I think.
Okay.
And they talk with me and the house family.
Okay.
So how they can see how things going. And,
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure everybody's safe and happy.
Yeah.
Well, no, this company sounds like they're doing a great job. They're doing things. They're doing a lot to help. But I still can't get over how stupid that is. I still can't get over how stupid it is that you have to go back and wait another 5 or 6 months. Well, here's the other question I have. It's like, for example, in your situation, you're going to go back. You have your family. You're going to stay with them. What if somebody, for example, doesn't have that opportunity? Like, somebody lives by themselves in Mexico, let's say. They get a work visa to come here, so they say, okay, well, I'm going to get rid of my apartment or my house or whatever, and they're going to sell everything. But then when they're done, they got to go back and they have nothing. What do you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's a chance they're taking, but that also again, if you're alone and you live there alone and you come here and you have to go back and you have nothing to go back to, what do you do?
This is my point. Is
Like you obviously, you're coming here for a reason. And I think probably many of them can't afford to pay what it costs to live there and then also pay what it costs to live here.
yeah, they're not going to be able to keep their home there.
Exactly.
While they're here,
So what do you do? And these are the things I think our government doesn't really think about or care about, honestly.
I personally don't think it's not that they don't care about it. I don't think that's any of the situation. I think there's so much in terms of bureaucracy. There's so many paperwork. There's so much paperwork. There's so many levels, so many people that have to sign off on these things that the process is just insanely long. Yeah. Like this could be, I'm telling you, like, for example, she wants to renew her paperwork. She should be able to, a month before, go online.
Exactly.
Fill out this paperwork and say, hey, I want to continue working here. This is my employer who's sponsoring me, who's saying that everything is going well. And in 2 weeks should have an approval and an extension of the visa.
Do you have to do all that stuff in person?
Yeah.
Wow.
In person in Mexico.
That's why it takes.
Yeah, and that's
why it takes so long. Everything takes so long.
Yeah, you also have to travel to Mexico because I was living in Puebla and I have to travel to Mexico. Like you can't do it in your city.
So you can't start when you're here.
No.
That's the other thing I was going to say is if you know it's going to take 6 months before you start the but you can't because you have to be.
You don't have that option. They're not giving you that option. So
that is crazy.
Sorry, it just makes me mad. I
don't
agree. Understand it.
It's just it's more of how government is inefficient. The government is very inefficient when it comes
unorganized. Everything is honestly.
I think the government from here need to go to see Mexico and understand the situation we have there, because I don't think it's like so we're like a lot of people from Mexico want to came here. Like I think the government from here they start to question themselves and ask why a lot of people from Mexico want to came here.
Absolutely.
No, that's a very good point.
There's a reason why, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why so many people from that country want to come here.
Yeah.
And want to better their lives because they don't have that over there.
Yeah.
No, that's a very good point though, is I think you're right in the sense that the people that are making the laws here have no idea how bad or how difficult things are over there. Because I mean, and I don't know how it is where you're from, but like obviously there are places where there's violence every day.
Yeah.
You know, you have cartels that are running the streets, and it's like, I wouldn't want to be there.
In Michoacan, it's like that.
Is it?
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing is, you're braver than I am because I couldn't live in a place like that.
Yeah,
I couldn't be that
fair,
scared.
like because you see a family doing right things and the cartel appear and take all from them, and it's so sad.
That's crazy. I mean, well, I mean, I'm just saying.
It's easy to say send them back, but I think just to have empathy towards people and listening to Cow's story and understanding why some people do this is very eye-opening.
So here's the thing is, the whole send them back thing, this is a double-edged sword because I can say that we shouldn't send people back because it's they came here illegally for a reason and it's because they're trying to get a better life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's also the flip side of that is that it was so unregulated for the last 4 years that we have zero idea as to who came.
Exactly. Because, not everyone's a good person, right? You're a good person and you're here legally and you're doing all the right things. Not every single person is that way.
Yeah.
There could be people who are running from something that are coming here. We've seen that happen online and we've seen all these stories and people who do really terrible things. How can you regulate that? I don't.
Well, see, and this is what I'm saying though is let me back up to what I was saying. It's we saw a lot in the news about people that were here illegally that were committing crimes, stealing, doing whatever, killing people. So that contributed to the atmosphere that we have today, where it's like just send everybody back. I genuinely think so. I have an idea that maybe we can do both, right? We can, if we find somebody that's been here illegally for 5 years, but they've been working, they have a home, they have a family. Let's give those people a chance.
Yeah.
But
you know.
but just on the flip side is there's so many people that are coming in. How do you regulate that? How do you
Well,
interview each person? Do you background check each person? Like that's so many
No, so-
resources that are used up.
so we started, we basically closed the border. We're not allowing people to come through anymore, and or very small amounts are coming through, which is the starting point, because you can't fix what's here if the flood is still coming,
Right.
right? So I think maybe we do a situation where it's like, okay, you've been here for 5-10 years, whatever. You've been working. We talk to your employer. We talk to people that you know. If this is a good person, then give them the opportunity. Say, hey, you have a year and a half, 2 years to get your paperwork in order, and then you could stay here as a citizen or as a resident alien or whatever. If you can't do it in that time for whatever reason, then you have to go back.
There's also a lot of other factors that you have to consider when it comes to that. You know, you have an employer here that's hiring someone who's illegal. The employer could also get in trouble. So there has to be some kind of clause or something in there that
Some kind of protection for the employer.
protects the employer,
Yeah.
you know, in that whole process because they're employing that person, right?
I agree. There are ways to do this, but you know, the thing is that if we don't do it that way, then the only other way to do it is by just sending everybody. And then you know, like you're saying, we don't know what we're sending them back to. We might be sending them back to somebody. It might be somebody that ran away because they had a threat on their life because they had business there, whatever. And as soon as they get back, somebody's going to be looking for them. So it's not right to do it that way, but it's also not right to just let everybody stay here. So we got to figure out the balance.
Yeah.
I think we do.
It'll take a lot of resources, but I think this is something that needs a bigger conversation.
It needs to happen though.
And, yeah,
It's
something needs to change.
resources are one thing. It doesn't matter what it costs. I think the cost is not. We're spending money on stupid things anyway.
Yes.
It's like, now let's spend money on being humanitarian. Let's help people with that money that we're spending. Instead of spending money on stupid research on, projects that don't make any sense to anybody, let's spend that money to be good people and help people that need it.
Yeah, because
That's the
this is not only happening today. It has been for years.
For decades. And you know, the purpose of our government, right, is to help people. So
It depends on which person in the government you ask.
I know. So why don't you start doing that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a really broad conversation. There's a lot of factors that go into it. But they need to start somewhere. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah, we definitely need to change something. The whole process doesn't make any sense. It's too complicated. It's too, like you're saying, like if she didn't have any kind of guidance, then she would still be stuck, with whatever job was available there, and she would not have this opportunity. Why is it so complicated? We should have, if this is the funny thing, is to fix the illegal immigration issue, all you have to do is spend the money to make legal immigration easier.
Yeah.
Even if it goes as far as the United States government opening offices in Mexico, where it's like, hey, come to us, we'll show you how to do it.
Beneficial.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
To
for the
have
people that are
someone-
looking help.
Exactly. That would be so beneficial.
Yeah.
Open up offices all over the place and say, hey, if you want to go to the United States, come to us. We'll show you how to do it. We'll walk you through the paperwork. Have Spanish speaking people that work for the United States government that help the process.
But now you have to hire an immigration lawyer, and then you have to pay all this money, and it's just money that you don't have, and it's a whole process. So
It's a business.
Exactly.
It's a business.
Everything's a business.
I don't think any of this stuff is this hard on purpose. I mean, on accident. I think it's this hard on purpose.
Yeah.
Because it's a business. It's somebody's making money on it.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, I think we're good. I think
Thank you.
we got a
for
lot of information.
all
Thank
your
you for
insight.
giving us you're the
Thank you.
information. Thank you for your story. I know it's like sometimes not everybody wants to talk about what they're doing or how they're going through it, but we appreciate you sharing
And
with
we
us.
definitely absolutely hope the best for you.
Thank
we
you.
truly hope that you get everything that you want.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Thank you.
the process gets easier
Yeah.
soon, because that's
Yeah,
crazy.
me too.
I'm still like, it still really doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm just going to have to accept it for what it is. All right. Well, thank you. And I think maybe we'll talk again if things change.
Thank you.
Know?
Okay.
Sounds good. Till next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.